something strange in the neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
There's a very distinct definition to a professional car. It's a hearse, ambulance, limousine used for funeral service, emergency services. They're forgotten vehicles.
It starts with being about 6 or 7 years old, hanging out with my dad, and went to a used car lot and saw a car on the lot. I had no idea at that age what it was, but it was long and shiny and black on top and silver on the bottom.
When you go to car shows, you see people driving cars that they drove when they were young. I started in EMS when I was 17 years old. Hence, this is what I drove when I was young.
You have to remember, when I started in EMS, I was 18 years old. And you give an 18-year-old an opportunity to drive with lights and sirens in a big, Chevy with a big block engine and no speed restrictions. It brings back some good memories.
These cars are just cars. But for people that are car people, their cars almost have a bit of their own life.
I was almost born in 1947 Studebaker. Our family lived next door to a Studebaker dealer. Our family bought Studebakers, so my whole life I was exposed to Studebakers. The Ambulette, I purchased that in 1971 when I was just after high school for the grand sum of $550. I've had that car ever since.
All of my ambulances, they were completely equipped with first aid supplies, the cots, splints, oxygen bottles, whatever that were appropriate to that era. The first car that I had, I did make some errors. The first meet I went to, it was kind of like, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. But it was done with love.
The gentleman who I purchased it from, he and his wife would use the car. They'd go on trips, he would say down to Florida and up the East Coast in the car, and they really enjoyed it. And he installed a little tape deck for her and some speakers in it for her to listen to. She later died of cancer, and the car just sitting in a garage. That tape deck, purist or not, is never going to come out, for that, to honor Frank and his wife, because that's as much part of the history of that car as it was in Morgan County or Lifeline Ambulance.
These cars, when they're gone, they're gone. And it's an important piece of history, I think. Unrecognized piece of history. And for all of us, it's keeping that history alive.
Once they're gone, if nobody keeps them, they're gone. Unfortunately, a lot of these professional cars usually don't have a very good ending. They end up as a plumber's vehicle or a demo derby or something like that.
Those friendships are what brings me back every year.
It's great to be around the people. I mean, you see the gathering out in the parking lot every night. And we're sitting out there telling war stories, talking about cars, talking about, it took me 6 months to find the left-handed, widget for the front door.
A funeral is usually a sad event. People try to make it a celebration of life, try to, turn an upbeat on it. But when that coach is parked out in front of the funeral home, you can just stand back and you can watch people walk by, and the smile comes on their face when they see that sitting there. And it makes you feel, you're just gone a little bit beyond what the normal is to try to bring a little extra comfort to them.
Look past the idea of the fact that it's a hearse or an ambulance, so there might have been, some bad thing that happened there. Let's look at this cool looking car. Okay, it's got all these sirens, the lights and everything, and it's shiny, and wow.
And I think that's how I ended up with 5 cars. I'm just trying to save them all.